Instagram, YouTube, you name it. It's Kev from Kevin's Corner, where I try to make sense out of nonsense. And it is 5:46. Some of y'all may be on your way home from work or whatever it is that you do around this time. Some of y'all might be at work, sneaking and listening to Kevin from Kevin's Corner while you on the job. But don't worry, y'all. I ain't gonna tell. I ain't gonna tell. I know snitches get stitches. So yeah, just don't get caught. But those that aren't and have a chance to log on to listen to the live stream, you're gonna love this one. This one's gonna be a live one. Yeah. So hopefully, if you don't catch it all the way live, you'll be able to check it out a little later, because I know my time schedules are kind of, fluctuating and all that good stuff. So let me see if I got a notification. First of all, let me see here. Okay, come on. Yeah. It looked like something's happening, but not happening fast enough. That's what's happening. Anyway, all right, let's see who's online. All right, this is loud and clear from PA. That's what I'm talking about. Gorilla Nation. That's what I'm talking about. Turning in from. Oh, really? Is that short for jury something? Gene Autry? Okay, Oklahoma. Let's see. Get those likes up. Yeah, you definitely want to do that. Get those likes up, man. I got my notification from California Bay Area. What? They sending notifications all the way out there? They better. I mean, as far as I know, YouTube is still located, I think, they might be out in California. If they can't get the notifications to folks in California, they really sorry. All right, who else we got? Oh, yeah. So let me see something here. I'm trying to watch it from my phone, my alternative phone, and it looks like this one's giving me the blues. All you ever give me is the blues. Yeah. So now, come on, stop giving me the blues, phone. Unless my internets are jacking up. So anyway, speaking of internets, let me make sure my notifications are off, and I'm going to log on to the internets. No, we don't want to do that. We don't want to stop the stream. Yeah, okay, now, there we go. All right, there it is. All right, I just turned on my Wi-Fi just in case things go crazy. Well, we'll worry about that later. Anyway, now, if you're online, please let me know. I can see the folks chatting, and I'm assuming that you can hear and see me. So with that being said, since we got a little material to cover on this Monday, we might as well go ahead and get busy. Oh, San Francisco's in the crib. What? Like a real gold love. Real gold love. Real gold love. Listen, Kings in the building. Gorillas in here. Gorilla in here. Gorillas in here. Gorillas in here. That's right. And there is a Kevin's Corner store in here. So if you get a chance, check that out too. Please do. You won't be disappointed if you go ahead and check out the show. I mean, not the show, but the store. Find all kind of merch you might like and stuff like that. So check that out. Also, that number on the screen, 330-974-4607, is the number you text Kevin by texting MAGA to that. Okay, that let me know that you're in the house, and just in case I have to communicate to everybody and let them know what's going on, I can do that through there. And finally, if you want to donate to the channel in other ways, you can do that through my Cash App or my PayPal link, and you can participate in the super chat if you'd like. So now, here we are. We're sitting at 73 people. And I'm sure as notifications go out, more people will log on. YouTube is definitely going to take their time. Plus, not to mention, my schedule is, of course, sporadic now. So it's kind of like, catch me if you can. So while we're waiting on all of those people to go ahead and, check in, before we get into the meat and potatoes of the live stream, we're going to warm up a little bit on a controversial, which is really not controversial issue, which is these tariffs, y'all. Because according to the fake news and stuff, China's digging into us. They're beating us over the head. There it is. We are losing to the Chinese with these tariffs. Trump's going to ruin it all. Now, I'm starting to sense that there are some haters in the House. I'm starting to think that maybe the fake news ain't on our side. Yeah, maybe Wall Street ain't on our side. And they're trying to make it seem like, oh, everybody's upset about these tariffs. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I haven't felt the effect of the tariffs at all. Maybe I did. Maybe I went and bought something that I didn't know was, hiked up a little bit because of the tariffs. I don't know. But after paying the prices under Joe Biden, we probably won't know the difference anyway. I mean, after paying those prices, those gas prices, don't be whining about that. You might have to pay a little more for this or that. And I'm going, wow, unless I see a drastic drop, it almost feels like, hey, it ain't worse than what it was under Creepy Sleepy, and there was no tariffs involved. So here the media is trying to make everybody think these tariffs are horrible, and the Chinese are winning, and Trump is making a foolish mistake. Now listen to how they address this, and you will find that these people are, like we all know, nothing but paid and bought fake behind Mockingbird news that is here to push negativity about Trump. And they wonder why their ratings are so low. Listen to this crap. They're on the Chinese
leaders. To tariffs. I'm saying you're opposed to taxes, and tariffs are taxes.
Taxes are permanent. Tariffs are a negotiating weapon. Why is every leader of every country in Europe showing up in Washington every week?
Good point, Kevin O'Leary. Wonderful name, by the way. First name. Yeah. Well, why is it? They're like, the tariffs are taxes, tariffs are... And he says, well, why is it then that every leader is showing up in Washington constantly? See, it appears that these people are looking through the lenses of propaganda. They want everything to sound or be negative in the eyes of their raggedy viewers. Whereas I'm saying, it should be an indicator about the leverage that Trump and America has with these tariffs, considering all of the leaders are migrating here. We're not going there. China went on a little tour to try to get people on their side. We didn't do that. We sent J.D. Vance to go meet with India. But for the most part, everybody's coming. Everybody's coming to talk to us. Why is that? Because we got leverage, and we better use it while we got it. But according to them, it's a bad thing.
They want to cut a deal. You don't like the fact that in 9 weeks we don't have a deal? No administration's ever tried to cut 60 deals at once. All you need to do is pen one.
There you go. Pen one. Get one nice, big, solid trade agreement with somebody, and everybody else falls in line. Knock out the biggest bully, and everybody else go, oh, shoot, I don't want no trouble. Me and my boy did that in high school when we learned the magic of wrestling. Yeah, they should have never taught us how to wrestle. And this big dude, he was the biggest dude in the school. I mean, he looked like a grown man, full beard and everything, like a grown man. And we spotted him out and said, you know what? If we take down Will, nothing serious. We weren't trying to beat him up for real, but we were going to beat him up enough to where everybody would laugh and see that he ain't as tough as everybody thought he was. And me and my boy, we weren't like real, bullies where they go after the weak. No, we didn't do that. We went after the biggest and the baddest. We shot in on that dude's legs and wore him out right in front of everybody after the bell hit rung, and they all saw him, and he was exposed. But everybody who saw that was like, man, them dudes don't play, man. Hey, man, you better leave them cats alone, man. You see what they did to Will? Hopefully Will's not watching Kevin's Corner right now. He'll be real upset. Might get flashbacks. But you take down the big dogs, and everybody else falls in line. And see, that's what he's saying. Right now, we are the big dogs. But if we land a good trade agreement with another big dog, then everybody else is going to say, wow, it seems that the momentum is moving in this direction, not China. But look what the media is trying to suggest.
Just pen one, whether it's India or EU or Britain, whatever it is, and that becomes the hallmark of all the rest. That's that stack. And then let's settle with China, because that's a different story.
Oh, and you can tell Kevin O'Leary don't like China. He's like, because that's a different story. I want to see the smackdown on them. So let's see how the news is portraying this whole thing with China.
And I love the fact that Xi's getting his head squeezed like a teenage pimple right now.
Yeah, of course. Look, the economy and how people feel about the trajectory of their own personal financial situation and their own lives, it affects every presidency. I mean, the last president lost his party lost the White House largely because people were unhappy about the economy. There's nothing new there. I think what President Trump is doing, though, is asking for a little bit of patience from the American people.
Yeah, that's all he's doing. A little bit of patience from the American people who got some common sense to see what he's doing and to see the threat and to see that he's fighting on behalf of our workers, our jobs, and America. See, unlike the fake news. The fake news, I guess, what are they saying? He's just doing this for fun. He's doing this so he can enrich his buddies. Why else would he be doing this? If it wasn't for he recognizes we're in deep doo-doo if we don't turn this whole tariff thing around. But I got patience. You know what I'm saying? I made it through 4 years of raggedy behind, creepy, sleepy, sleazy, slimy, sloppy Joe and the crew. Surely I can deal with a little bit of adversity for a little bit.
As he installs a new way to think about how we operate our economy in the United States and how we operate our trade around the world. And he inherited a mess, and it's not going to be fixed overnight. So,
and how, says the little rascals.
So he's not on the ballot today, and the Republicans also in the Congress have their part to do as well, which is make the tax cuts permanent, codify some of his executive orders into law as it relates to energy and other matters. So,
and those thinking dang on Republicans better get it done. They better get it done. Dang on it.
So there's a lot more work to be done. And I think what the White House believes is once the work is completely done and once you give it a chance to work, things are going to start looking up for people and the numbers will improve. I don't sense a lot of panic at the White House over it right now because the president is so confident in his plan and that it will work for the American people.
Wow. You know what? Such positivity, Scott. Wonderful. Wonderful. Yeah, see, but let's go ahead and get a take from MSNBC, Nicole Wallace. Yeah. See, let's see how she, addresses the whole China tariff war in regards to Trump.
As for China, which is subject to a 145% tariff, Trump says, well, now they're negotiating. Watch.
We are going to have a fair deal with China. It's going to be fair.
Are you talking to them actively now?
Actively. Everything's active. Everybody wants to be a part of what we're doing.
The Chinese government says no.
Now you see her with her sarcasm? The Chinese government says no. So wait, let me understand. You don't think Trump is telling the truth about us talking to the Chinese? That's what it is? So you're telling me you're siding with the Chinese? It sounds to me like MSNBC is parroting Chinese talking points. They would rather believe the communist Chinese party than President Trump. Do you see how they work? See, remember, any other time, they would always say, if we as Americans would say something, or if Trump says something, they would immediately be like, Trump's lying, Trump's this and this and that. Or if Trump says, Russia did this or Russia did that, Trump's parroting Russian talking points. He's siding with Russia. Russia wants him to say that. But right now, it sounds like if I'm the Chinese, if I'm Xi, I'm loving MSNBC. If I'm Xi, I'm loving MSNBC. He's going, continue to make it seem like Trump can't be trusted. Trump's the liar. But us, the Communist Chinese Party, why would we be lying about this? So let's continue watching them pushing Chinese talking points.
Not active. Quote, China and the U.S. have not engaged in any consultations or negotiations regarding tariffs.
And I would rather believe the Chinese over Trump because, we're American last. We want to see Trump fail. We will take the side of anybody but Trump. I told y'all, if it was between Trump and the devil, they'd be like, give us Satan. Give us Satan, okay?
Let alone reached an agreement, end quote. Adding that while China is open to talks, quote, if it's a fight, we will fight till the end. Confronted with China pouring cold water on Donald Trump's version of reality.
Look, they stank. This network stank. A pure 100% stank. That they're pouring on that Donald Trump's reality. You could tell they are completely anti-Trump. Sitting back saying, well, if the Chinese said it, then it must be true. Because obviously Trump is just making this stuff up. He's lying. You can tell it in the way they written their script, the tone of her voice, the disdain. She is hoping the Chinese win. Hoping Trump breaks down. And this is horrible, man. They are so anti-American, and Trump says it all the time. I think they hate our country. That's not true.
Trump said this.
A question on China. Can you clarify with whom the U.S. is speaking with China? They're saying it's fake news that trade talks are happening.
Well, they had a meeting this morning, so I can't tell you. It doesn't matter who they is.
They just doesn't include China and the U.S.
See, there it is. Look, the whole hit piece. They just don't include China and the U.S. So you're telling me this Trump just made that up? Nobody in Trump's cabinet had any conversation with anybody. Now, there's a good chance that Trump wouldn't know who the heck they were talking to. I mean, besides Xi, you think he knows a whole bunch of Chinese, representatives' names? So here she is, though, just going to jump the gun. If the Chinese said it, it must be true. Trump's always lying, making stuff up.
According to China. New York Times reports this, quote, in private, some Trump officials concede that they did not accurately predict China's reaction. Trump seemed to expect China to be among the first to come begging for relief, given the size of its exports to the U.S. Now, though, the cost of all of it, the price we as Americans and as a country are paying for Trump's incompetence and
look at this, his incompetence. Well, what are you talking about, his incompetence? The price we're paying because the whole script written negatively. Whole script is anti-American, anti-Trump, pro-China. You want Trump to break. It's unbelievable, these people, man. I mean, they better be lucky that there's a such thing called the freedom of the press and freedom of speech. This is one of the moments they benefit off of freedom of speech. Because if Trump was the dictator like Xi is, because see, Xi could come right out and straight lie. No, we did not talk to anyone in America. And nobody in his cabinet, no news media in China would say he's lying. Xi's making it all up, but he's not. Nobody would do that. That's how real dictators operate. But over here, these bums could get on TV and lie, make up stuff, side with China, undermine the president, and all of that, and get up and do it every single day, over and over again, and then claim that Trump's the dictator. He's coming after the media.
Illusions as he stumbles on what was once his political calling card. The economy is in part our image, our reputation, our history as a safe place to invest in and a reliable player and partner on the world stage.
No, it's a safe place to take advantage of, which all of these countries have been doing that for a long time. That's why they don't want fair tariffs. That's why they all kicked against it at first, because they're going, whoa, 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 we've been used to mooching off the United States for a long time with these unfair tariffs and trade deals. And now you want us to be fair? And okay, some of them went, yeah, okay. Other ones like, nah, man, now we used to going ahead and mooching. But China, since they got bad intentions for the United States, they really, really want to hold out. The biggest trade agreement that we need to make is with China. We need to break them. But if it was up to these people, they would break us. Yeah, we would fall to number two, the second largest superpower and the second, I guess, best economy. And then it's all downhill from there if it was up to these people.
Take a look at the cover of The Economist. Quote, only 1,361 days to go, showing America's national symbol, the bald eagle, battered and injured and bandaged.
Oh, God, these people are so anti-America. It just makes me sick. What's going to happen when Trump land all these trade deals and everything pans out and everybody's going, wow, I'm so glad we dealt with the upfront pain, which I'm still yet to feel, and then things worked out. What are they going to say then? These are bums, man, bums, and I got to expose them.
A top Trump MAGA donor puts it this way: our national brand is at risk. Take a listen to
America
that.
rose beyond just being a country. It was like an aspiration for most of the world. And we're eroding that brand right now.
No, we're not. Nah. See, what good is it that your brand is, hey, we all love America. America's the greatest. America's the biggest superpower. America is the leader of the free world and all of this stuff. And we're taking advantage of them. Yeah, because we're pumping America's heads up and telling them you're the best, the biggest, and all that stuff, and we all want to invest in you. Yeah, we're taking advantage of y'all. That ain't a good brand to have. Yeah, and you know, in public, people praise you. Behind closed doors, don't go, man, we're going to stick it to them on these deals, and they're dumb enough to be giving us money through USAID, and they're dumb enough to be all of these dumb things that we've been doing with all of these other countries. That's not good branding. Just because people will get in your face and say, you're great. Now give me $100. You're the best. Give me $1 million. Man, you know what? Ain't nobody like you. Give me $7,000. That's not cool. Yeah, I'd rather they respect me and treat me fairly than to brand me as the leader of the free world and allow us to be taken advantage of. So we better go ahead and get to some real facts because we just heard it from MSNBC. Let's hear from this guy who's an expert on China.
Gordon, the markets ended the week in the green. All of the indices are up. What's your take on what's happening with...
Now, wait a minute. After listening to Nicole Wallace, I would have thought we was in the soup line already. The soup and the bread line. Back during the Great Depression. Boy, I tell you, man, listening to fake news, that's what you would think. They'll create that fake reality in your head. So tell us, Mr. Man from China who knows about the Chinese, what do you think is going on?
China now?
China, I think, is a little bit in a panic. What we're seeing is that they're not imposing tariffs on certain categories of American goods.
What?
So, for instance, some semiconductors, industrial chemicals, aviation products that they need, but they're not announcing it, which just looks like China is folding because they realize that they need American products that they can't get anywhere else.
So you're telling me they're not announcing it, just like they're probably not announcing that they're negotiating with the U.S. because it would look weak to cheese people. But yet, you know who did buy it? MSNBC. They bought it, just like the Chinese people over there probably are buying it. Yeah, so they might as well go ahead and be a news network for China. Let's continue. What else you say about them?
And also, I think they're probably coming to a realization that they need to take the temperature down. So far, rhetorically, they're saying, well, no, we're not talking to the United States, but I'm sure that they are because we talk to the Chinese all the time about all sorts of things.
Wow. You see that? Now, we just heard Nicole Wallace completely take the side of China just to try to make Trump look bad. Now, do you think she, after telling his people, we're the best, we're the biggest, our economy is the biggest now, we done took over, we're the #1 leader in the world and all of this stuff, and this dictator, do you think that dictator would tell his people and the news, of course, that, yeah, behind closed doors, I am talking to him because we got to get this mess straightened out, you know what I mean? Or would he say, nah, we ain't talking to them, whatever, man. And the fake news ran with it. But this guy's not falling for it. Neither am I.
And to think that we haven't talked about tariffs during this tariff war just is really strains credulity.
So, Gordon, staying on what you just said, is China backing down? Because, yes, Reuters reporting China has dialed back its 125% retaliatory tariffs on, U.S.-made microchips needed for electronic devices.
Wait a minute. I thought they was going 125% tariffs across the board, no matter what. No, exceptions to the, okay. So once it start digging into them where it hurts, then they're starting to go, we better make some changes real quick. But don't tell the people. Let's send a message to MSNBC for them to carry water for us so they can push propaganda in their own country for us. That's what we'll do.
China is looking at a list of more than 130 categories of U.S.-made products that could be eligible for exemptions from China's tariffs. And as you said, it's also vaccines, chemicals, and jet engines. So are they backing down?
Well, I think they certainly are backing down, but they're trying to do it in a way that they don't look like they're doing that.
Of course. That's what all the countries who try to box with Trump and they got short arms have to do. They all do that. Yeah, they start off acting, shadow boxing. Soon as they get in the ring, ding, they don't want no action. See, but they got to save face in front of their people. Yeah, they got to, when they doing the interview out there, how do you think you're going to fare against the United States in that boxing match? Oh, I can't wait. They ain't never seen nobody like me when I get in the ring. Of course they pop in church. Remember I ran? I ran when we said, look, man, if y'all go ahead and retaliate after we, I think, what did we do? They shot down some drones or something like that. We took out Solomon Grundy and then they got mad, shot down a drone. But they had to make face. They wanted to make the people think we're still in power and got some control. And, I know if we accidentally kill anybody in America, y'all gonna blow us off the map. We understand the rules, Mr. Trump. Here's what we're gonna do, though. To just make our people look like we're doing stuff, we're gonna just blow up some buildings, maybe some abandoned stuff and a couple hills and stuff. We'll shoot that and tell our people we're doing stuff so we can save face. There's a lot of countries who do that so they can save face. But when it comes down to it, your arms aren't long enough to box with the U.S. right now when it comes down to the economy. So at some point, you got to go ahead and throw in the towel.
And I think part of the reason is that Xi Jinping has configured the Chinese political system so that only the most hostile answers are considered acceptable. And he's been telling the Chinese people for a half decade that China's already surpassed the US. So he can't go back to them and say, well, we're talking to the Americans because of pressure. That just
because once you convince all the Chinese that we done surpassed the US, and then you come talking about now we got to go back to the US and kind of concede that, all right, what you want us to do? What do you think is fair? That's not a good look for a dictator, see? But I thought we had a dictator. I thought Trump didn't have to worry about the opinions of Americans. I thought Trump didn't have to worry about our fake news stabbing him in the back. He's a dictator, right? So Xi could throw out all kind of reckless, crazy narratives and then behind doors negotiate, and then the fake news carry the water. But guess what? Let's see if Trump supporters are buying what the fake news is selling. Let's see if they all up here talking about, man, I regret it. Should have never voted for Trump. Look what he's doing to the economy. Let's see what they got to say.
doesn't work because that undermines all of his credibility with the people of China.
I need to ask you an issue that no one's brought up and that has crashed your 401ks. Most of you. Your tariffs. Stock market is way down.
It needed a correction.
Oh, so you support it?
Yes. You bet.
Yep.
How many
And I have to
people-
tell you,
How many
my 401k wasn't impacted at all.
Oh, jeez. Now he brought up something he thought was going to hurt him deep. Now, all of these people, 100% of these people in this little poll or this little chat voted for Trump, and every one of them said, absolutely. He's shocked that they support him. I mean, this guy, he be doing these polls, hoping that he'll get some people in there like, yeah, Trump sucks. I can't believe that. But at least I know, though, he's picking real Trump supporters, and he ain't out there like, some networks and online trying to find, of course, Democrats to pretend they're Republicans, and then they get up there pushing straight up Democrat talking points. But every one of them was like, of course we do. He's shocked. Really? I can't believe it. Yeah. So let's continue hearing these people address these tariffs that they're supposed to be all mad over.
First off, how many of you did not lose any money over the crash of the stock market? One individual, two people. So, Serena?
The Biden administration, I lost more money than the Trump administration.
Oh, he's digging me. Oh, look at these. See, that's why I love MAGA. That's why I love conservatives, the way they think. See, immediately, what are you talking about? We should be whining over losing a little bit in the stock market. We lost more under Biden. Y'all don't remember them $7 gas prices out in California? Might have even been more. Yeah, I remember up in Ohio, it was hitting $4, almost $5. Felt like the Chinese. $5, too buku. No, you pay now. It was a lot of money. So now they're saying, nope, it was more under Biden. Now, what is he going to do, y'all? He's trying to get them to turn on Trump. Let's see.
By far.
In 2022, they crashed it by 25%. Yeah, for the whole year.
No one's upset over this?
Look, he's disappointed. No one's upset over this. I picked this question because I just assumed that at least one or two maybe would be like, darn right, I'm sick of these tariffs. But let's see these smart people respond to this guy who's trying to push them towards negativity about Trump.
No.
Nope.
No.
Nope.
No,
Nope. You hear them all? Nope. They're in there like the Brady Bunch, y'all. There's a story. So now, y'all are nope.
Not a single 40-year period in the history of the stock market where the stock market hasn't appreciated at an average rate of about 7%. There's ups and downs and corrections, and sometimes people are foolish and they jump out, buy high, sell low. But if people just get in and stay the course, they'll be just fine.
Stay the course, we'll be just fine as a country. If we get in, stay the course, not be manipulated by the fake news, because remember, every single day their job is to turn sentiment against Trump. I don't care what he does. I don't care how positive what he did is. They would come out and try to make it seem negative. I don't care if the majority of the people in the country are saying we want this. they will come out and say, oh, sentiment has changed. Everybody hates it. Everybody's turning on Trump now. And this is a horrible thing. You sure you guys wanted this? That's their job every single day. Them and the Democrats. It's not to come up with policies to compete or to show an alternative to whatever they're saying Trump is doing this horrible. It is simply to make people think everything that he's doing is horrible. So let's go ahead and close this out so we can get to another thing that he's doing that's great. And they're trying to tell us it's horrible.
Facts.
Yeah, and I was about to say, I'm not a day trader. I try not to look at it very often, which is, I think, a good thing. But I also trust that Trump and all of his advisors that are involved with the tariff issue know what they're doing.
Bam! Unlike Creepy and the crew. Creepy, Sleepy, Sleazy, Slimy, Sloppy Joe and this whole crew. They had no idea what they were doing. They brought in a bunch of woke folk. And I thought, you want us to actually negotiate? We're here just to be woke and push a liberal globalist agenda. So what all do you want from us? Other countries, you can have it to whatever. Yeah, we'll send money and support whatever crazy stuff y'all got going on over there. As long as you make sure we get a little bit skimming off the top, you know. So here we have this lady saying, I'm not concerned about this at all. You know why? Because when you have a president and his cabinet in there, did you know they sincerely are trying to look out for America and the people? You trust them. You trust their motive. You sit back and you say, I know they're doing every single thing they can every day to make America great again, you know, and make America stable, make America powerful, and make sure we're treated fairly. I know that. So I trust them. I will allow a little fluctuation and some grace because I know their motives are pure. I know what they're doing is important long term. And so that's why all these people are going, we cool. We trust what they're doing.
So I'm just going to hang on. I know it'll correct at some point. Yeah, I'm not really worried about it.
I think how much more are you willing to pay for products and services that come out of China?
Look here. So you're willing to pay for products and services. How much are you willing to pay for products and services to come out of China?
How much do prices have to go up before you say, this is not that great?
I'd rather not buy from China. I'd rather pay more money and buy American.
Oh, boy, that didn't turn out the way he thought it was going to. Yeah, I'd rather not pay from China. I'd rather buy American. Boom. One to the kisser. Another one to the kisser, should I say, because he's getting them to the kisser all day long. Yeah, he trying to go ahead and set a price. Yeah, what's the price that you guys will simply say, I ain't going to... Look, man, there's other products around the country. I mean, I'm sure China don't make every single thing. Maybe something comes from China and get a little cheaper, but why not buy from America until we can work things out?
Same.
And prices only go up if demand is inelastic and if there's no alternative supplies. And they're doing a brilliant job. They're surrounding China with countries that want to manufacture stuff as well. And we do need...
Bam! Do you think if India said, we will take everything that China is making for cheap, we'll go ahead and manufacture that, and we'll have fair trade deals with America? Because we got a billion people too. We got over 1 billion people. Yeah, send all that business our way. China would be like, whoa, wait. Come here. Let me talk to you for a minute. There's other countries that we could either say, look, y'all manufacture this stuff, and then on the flip side, we also could say, keep your businesses here if you don't want to pay the tariffs, or manufacture whatever you're making in America. All right, so you don't have to worry about the tariffs and you can create jobs for American citizens. So I think what Trump is doing is positioning us to, number one, have fair trade deals with everybody, but number two, ensure that China has their goal and agenda to overtake America, interrupt it. I mean, look, I want to see the Chinese people do well and all of that stuff. I don't want them going past the U.S. I don't trust them. An authoritative regime like that, and you give them the number one seed, you know what I'm saying? But definitely, they need to be treating us fair. And that's the bottom line. Or, hey, how about we just move all our business elsewhere? Yeah, and shut you all the way down because we got the biggest market. What are you going to do? Survive off of these little teeny markets here and there across the globe? You know you need us. Can't deny us. Why would you want to? You need us. So now, let's close with this guy's wonderful statement about China.
To bring the stuff back, the strategic stuff for sure. But China is going to be in the soup if they don't knock it off.
You hear that? That's what Nicole Wallace should have been saying. China's going to be in the soup if they don't knock it off. So there you have it, guys. A little warm up to show just how anti-American the fake news is. They're all wishing that every country wins over the U.S. And here's another area that they're wishing that we lose. More embarrassing Democrats' antics, okay? So now, instead of doing things like coming up with policies and stuff like that, they're having shut-ins or sit-ins or sit-outs, or I don't know what you want to call this thing that they're doing, but it's another antic, but it's very embarrassing. So let's laugh at them real quick. Let's see who's all involved in this next.
We came out here over 10 hours ago.
For nothing. Now, do you see Bathroom Booker sitting up there? Then you got Fat Albert Nose right there. Warlock. And then you got Hawker Jeffries right there. And then probably all their staff. All their staff members who got drug into this. All right, everybody clear your Saturday. Saturday, we're having a sit-in on the steps. And we're going to pretend that everybody's there. Everybody's doing it. However, don't look like that many people showed up to their little party.
Hakeem and I said this is a bigger moment than politics.
Yeah, well, we're all the people. If it's a bigger moment than politics. Now, you know exactly what this is, Bathroom. This is all political right here. See, I think he got a little too much of a big head after they pumped him up with the whole, let me sit here and do a filibuster that wasn't a real filibuster for like 24 hours or so. So now he's just trying anything. So now they're just sitting on the steps and they're supposed to sit there for 12 hours. What is this accomplishing? What is this for? What are they doing? Who's out there supporting this? Nobody but them? Go, let's give them the benefit of the doubt.
This is a moral moment in America, and we were going to sit here for a long time. First of all, my favorite.
Oh, looks like the crowd thinned out even more. They're just sitting there talking about random stuff, y'all. That's their whole protest right now. Let's just sit here. We're down to like what, 4 people?
Muslim poet was a man named Muhammad Ali.
Oh,
and
the greatest.
That great poem, 2 words, me, we. But it actually reflects the ideal within Islam of the oneness.
And I know they're all sitting there going, how did I sign up for this? What the crap did I get myself into? How stupid are we looking? We're just sitting out here all day, just randomly talking about stuff. Got about 13, 14 people, probably forced the staff to stay. Let's see what else happened. Maybe some action happened.
Of humanity. We didn't know how long we would be out here, and now we have passed our 6th hour.
Yep. 6 hour. Yeah, it's a lot of room. A lot of room right there on those stairs. Yeah, I think we can fit more in, because it can more come on in. You guys can make your way down. Oh, you're not here? Nobody's here? But the crickets? Bring in the crickets. That's right now who's filling in for all of the people. The crickets that's striking up the band. Like, all right, everybody, let's get in the key of C. There you go, everybody. You're off. Look, drummer. All right, you got 6 hands. You got to be kidding me. You can't play the drums. Come on, all right, everybody. So now here we have crickets along with a very small group of people for whatever this is for. Nobody even told us what the heck is this. What are we supposed to be, supporting here? This is the Democrats, man. They're wasting 12 hours. They've wasted 12 hours. Doing what? Coming up with legislation? Nope. How can you be a Democrat? How can you be a Democrat? Let's continue, though.
All of you.
All of you.
We're not going anywhere. I'm feeling strong. How are you feeling? Feeling strong.
No, you feel dumb. I know you feel dumb. Look at them. I'm surprised they're not playing fling, flang, flu, jacks, doing anything to kill the time. People on the phone, I know they're like, how did we get involved in this? But guys, we got us an entertainer, though. So it ain't going to be so boring.
At the 6 o'clock hour, We're officially at the 12 hours that we've been at this. We started walking in your office, got down here a few minutes after 6 o'clock a.m. It is now 6 o'clock p.m. I want to...
You know this song from the beginning.
Here we go. It's nothing like a Democrat shut-in when you have some stupid people come out and they just start singing random songs and hope that everybody knows the song. So let's see how uncomfortable this guy right here makes them all feel.
I will build this world from love. Yada-da-da-da, yada-da-da.
Yada-da-da-da-da-da-da. Come on, everybody knows it. Everybody.
And you must build this world from love. Yada-da-da-da.
Yeah. Look at those faces. They all like, cringe. Who invited this guy? Who see? You know what? They're going to be laughing at us online. Oh, yes, we will. Yes.
And if we build this world from love.
Love. Look, he's feeling it. Love. He's feeling it. But the rest of them are sitting like, I've never heard this song. And who's this guy anyway? How do you get it? You know what? I tell you, we really got to stop doing this stupid stuff, man. We really got to stop doing it.
Then God will build this world from love.
With your LGBTQ colored scarf on. Talking about God will build this. I don't know if God's okay with that, but nonetheless, here he is with the yarmulke sama on the top of his head, and a small group of people out there that took lunch breaks and came out to sit in while he's jamming to a song nobody knows. Yes.
Let's build the country we deserve now.
Boy, I tell you. Man, I'm telling you, I would be in that crowd like, man, how did they get me involved in this? They told me they were going to have snacks. See, that'll get you sometime. If you come out and participate in this, we got free lunch. What? Yeah, you don't think it through. Show up to get your free lunch. Next, you know, you're singing, yada-da-da-da-da-da. So anyway, let's get to some real stuff that's happening, unlike what we just witnessed those Democrats doing, which is wasting time. Ice, baby. Too cold. Ice, baby. So they are locking them up, man. Lock them up, lock them in. Let me begin. So let's see what's happening on the ice front. Yeah.
The DEA. Hands up to the structure. Exit the structure with your hands up.
Oh, shoot. We done found us a nest. Oh, shoot. We done found us a haven of illegal immigrants. They telling them, get your butt out. You better come on out that thing right there, okay? All right, we're going to arrest all y'all. Dang on. Let's see. Oh! See? Now, see, all they had to do is open the door and come on out. Like they got some sense. But nope, you're going to make us take the sludge hammer to the door. Oh, here they come. Yeah, here they come. Hands up. Throw your hands up. Okay. Wow. Now that's what I'm talking about. Some action. All right. I've been waiting, dang on it, to see some action, see some folks get thrown in a slammer and taken away for a long time now. Okay. That's what I voted for. So they were all up in there having a good old time at this place, jamming. And all of a sudden the boys said, hey, all of them up in that bad boy, we can knock out about 100 and something at once. Look, even the police, he got a police thing on it. He's sitting down because he was probably involved. He knew that there were some illegals up in there.
Jonathan, give us some perspective here. 300 law enforcement officers. What brought about this kind of requirement, this kind of need to be here with that show?
So this is an underground illegal nightclub.
An underground illegal nightclub. So wait, either it's an illegal nightclub or it's a nightclub that is for illegals. One of the two, either way. They're both, I know the licenses are being lost right now. So it's an illegal nightclub that also has illegals in it. I don't know. One of the two. Let's see.
Okay. And what was happening inside was significant drug trafficking, prostitution, crimes of violence. We seized a number of guns in there. We had active duty service members who were running security at the club and involved in some of these crimes. And in fact, we had over 100 illegal aliens inside as well. And those over 100 illegal aliens were taken into custody by ICE.
Wow. Now, I bet you if you talk to the Democrats, let them go. Yeah, there's no evidence. It's due process. All of those 100 illegal immigrants and all of that stuff you found in there, that you can't prove it. You got to prove it. They got to go through, of course, some type of due process.
A massive immigration enforcement crackdown has led to hundreds of arrests in Florida in a matter of days. Immigration and Customs Enforcement posted on X that ICE Miami and Florida law enforcement arrested nearly 800 undocumented migrants in the first 4 days of their operation.
First 4 days, 800. That's decent. That's a decent amount right there. But I still want to see it pick up. I still want to see it. I'm talking maybe 8,000. I want like 8,000. You know what I'm saying? We need to match the amount of them that came in the country. See, I mean, we've taken 800 out, but yet we saw like 6,000 to 8,000 coming in every day. So yeah, we might want to pick it up a bit, but still, I appreciate what I'm seeing. In the words of Bobby Boucher, when that girl showed Bobby her boobies, and he looked and he said, I appreciate what you're showing me right now. I appreciate what they're showing me right now.
In tidal wave this week. In response, Governor Ron DeSantis posted that, quote, Florida is leading the nation in active cooperation with the Trump administration for immigration enforcement and deportation operations.
Darn right. Other states, other cities need to get on board. Chicago, California, Colorado, all of these sanctuary cities and states.
Well, I'm here at the White House as President Trump is going to mark 100 days in office tomorrow. Today, he is highlighting his border agenda. Attorney General Pam Bondi is here now.
Well, look at this, guys. So wait a minute. Trump is doing what he told everybody he would do. And what did he do? He put all of these pictures behind where the press comes to, I guess, report. And all of these are pictures of illegal gang member criminals that were deported that the media has been whining about. The media has been defending. So he's going to make them look at this stuff right here. He's going to make them look at their dirty work. He's going to make them justify as they're sitting here reporting and they're seeing all this stuff in the back of these people with a description of what they've done right underneath their picture. He's going to make them do what they did when George Floyd got killed. Lie to your face as all the evidence is right behind you. As you can see, these are mostly peaceful protesters. So now they got to get out there and be like Trump and his radical the deportation agenda. He's arresting innocent woodland creatures who've done nothing. They're here for a better life. And as you can see behind me, these people are mostly innocent illegal gangbangers. What are you going to say when all that evidence is right behind you when you're reporting your fake news? Well, we're about to see them do one of the worst things I've ever seen the fake news do, ever.
And she has everything to do with the video you just saw in Colorado Springs. Yes. Ms. Attorney General, thanks so much for seeing my first time seeing you since you got the job. Congratulations.
Hey, girl. How you,
girl? Tell us what you were thinking about when we were watching that video seconds ago.
America is safer tonight thanks to Donald Trump.
Thank you.
Last night, Brian, what they did, so to back up, during the Biden administration, they received 170 911 calls to that club alone.
What? So that club was kicking it. Everybody was calling. Let me get her at it again. Is anybody coming? Hello, who is this? This is Mucus. Mucus. Anyway, hey, Mucus. Can you send some people? They're over acting up. No, I cannot do that because these are my precious illegal immigrants.
That club we were just watching, 170 calls. Wouldn't you think that would have been a red flag? Nothing happened. Guns, shootings, ag batteries, nothing happened. So under Donald Trump, DEA, FBI, U.S. Marshals, ATF, ICE, everyone went in together. DEA led this investigation.
went in, got 115 illegal immigrants.
Right.
This is great. Everybody should be celebrating this. The news should all be going, great job. I mean, that right there is progress.
Aliens in our country, arrested them, 2 with warrants, 12 guns seized. So what would happen in this club is you would go in, security would give you a menu of drugs.
They had a cocktail of drugs instead of steak and fries and hamburgers and stuff like that and sliders. They had cocaine and marijuana and what else?
Cocaine. There's something new called pink cocaine.
Pink cocaine.
Meth. You could go in a bathroom stall, get that. There was prostitution.
Man, they was up in it. That right there was Satan's little den. Boy, I mean, how much more corruption can you go? How did this place even continue to operate? It was under the Biden administration.
These things going on, and we just now identified a member of Sinaloa cartel was also in there.
So that's really interesting because it's not a sanctuary city, right?
No.
Denver is, but Colorado Springs isn't. You look at this for the longest time. What is the downside of raiding that club during the Biden years? Like, what's the negative side of it? Do you prefer illegal drug use and illegal aliens?
And prostitution.
Yeah. See, because that bad boy got so many illegal immigrants up in there. If Biden and them would have actually raided it, yeah, they would have swept up, of course, all of the criminals, but then they would have had to figure out how to go ahead and let all of the non-criminal illegal immigrants go. We don't want to bring that type of attention to our legal immigrant scam. We know there's too many of them up in there. See, and if we go up in there and it gets out that we just went ahead and arrested 100 and something illegal immigrants that's been in there selling drugs, prostitution, all of the crap that we just heard, that's not a good look for us. Because we've been telling America that the most illegal most undocumented American citizens do not commit crimes. It is mostly done by American white supremacists and Trump supporters. Yeah, we've been hearing all of that. So, of course, that would have brought negativity. So they just said, let them go. Let them have a good time. Crazy kids. Let them go ahead and mess around and have a drug fest and prostitution, all that stuff. Let that stuff go.
Prostitution and the violence and the shootings and the guns that was happening in that club, and no one did anything after 170 911 calls. Yet President Trump immediately, that was a really dangerous operation too, and that's why there were 300 agents all working hand in hand, and that's what Donald Trump has done so well. All of our agencies work so well together. Went in there, got these bad guys out, 115 arrests, 12 guns off the streets, lots of drugs off the streets now, less prostitution as a result of it.
And we should be having a celebration like Rick James. It's a celebration, right? That's what we should be having. But I got a feeling we got some party poopers. Boom, boom, boom. Party poopers. The same people who pooped on the party about Trump's tariffs with China. Here I am starting to celebrate that we got China on their heels, and then you send out those nasty, stinking, corrupt, funky MSNBC folks to ruin the party. And I got a feeling they're not going to agree with this movement either.
Meanwhile,
well, look at that. Look at all those pictures that's highlighting all of these illegal immigrant criminals. Let's see how MSNBC covers that. Yeah, look at them all. That's right. Look at it. Look at that. It's a lot of them. Yeah.
White House has put up about 100 posters of what they say are unauthorized immigrants who have been arrested for violent crimes. You can see them there.
No, you can't see them there. You can't see them there. You know why, MSNBC? Are you ready for this proper? This is 1984. How can they even pretend to be legitimate news when they are running cover for all of these illegal gang members who've been arrested? They know that if they get out there and they report from the White House, these are going to be in the background. They're not going to be able to be just talking about that. You know what? Don't pay attention to the description. This person killed somebody. This person did that. This person did that. Don't read that stuff, okay? Because we want all of these people to have due process. So what are we going to do? We're going to say, they put these pictures up there, but what we did is blur them out. Boy. I mean, do they have a license? Like, is there any requirements that you have to be saying that you are a news network some standard? I mean, can you just do stuff like this? Straight up censor. So we're not gonna. But watch why they say that they're blurring them out. Listen to their excuse, y'all.
Put them up on the driveway of the White House. If you look here, that's the West Wing just at the forefront, the executive mansion itself to the left. But what's particularly noteworthy about this location is it is right directly behind the positions where TV correspondents do their hits from the White House lawn.
And that's exactly why they're there. Because see, that's for you guys. Y'all do your hits, not reporting. Hits. See, you correctly described it. Hits, all hit pieces. We just saw Nicole Wallace do a hit piece. So now Trump put all of these illegal immigrants, he's the greatest. The greatest. Whoever came up with that idea is brilliant. So now they got to go ahead and report and blur out the precious illegal immigrants. Did they do nothing? They do nothing. Got to blur out their picture. And they're mad at Trump saying that he put these people's pictures up there. And what's the problem with this again?
So therefore, no matter what network you're on, that includes MSNBC.
Yeah,
if you're doing it from the White House right now, those pictures will be behind you. The White House doing a briefing in about a half hour about what they're doing here.
Yeah.
Maria, your response to this image.
Yeah, I thought, Maria, your response to this image, because we need to give a raggedy excuse that only the dumbest people in the whole world would ever accept on why we are blurring these pictures out and why this is bad.
So I have to say, one of the biggest challenges that we have with the deportations that we know of so far, for example, with Kilmer Abreu Garcia, we don't know if they've had due process. We don't know if, in fact, these individuals do have a rap sheet. So I would encourage those individuals that have that as a backshot to blur those people out.
You hear that? To blur those people out. They're encouraging. Boy, I tell you, man, they're encouraging other networks to blur those people out, just like us, that we're doing. Because we don't know if these people actually had due process. I'm sure that the DOJ and the Homeland Security and ICE and all of them, I'm sure they just arrested these people and just put stuff underneath their picture, just made it up. What do you think about this guy? You think he looks like a killer? Yeah, it looks like a killer to me. All right, let's write that. The murderer. There we go. All right, here's a picture of some guy. What do you think about him? Well, we can't go too heavy on the murderers. Let's just call this guy drug dealer. Here you go, drug dealer. There we go. I guess that's what they're doing. They're just up there just picking stuff out of a hat and just throwing the label on all of these illegal immigrant gangbangers that they've deported. So now she's whining about, we got to protect their image and their reputation and their identity because they may not have had due process. Do you understand how, I can't even fathom what they have to go through to twist themselves to try to make things make sense. When this came out, I'm sure they're like, oh crap. All right, boy, this is going to be a tough one. How can we make people be okay with us blurring these out and make it sound believable of why we're doing it? I guess that's the best we could come up with. Due process.
The job of journalism is to ensure that we are presenting the facts, that we are cross-referencing.
And they are dodging the facts. They don't want people seeing what these people were deported for. So their job is to blur out the facts, to cover it up, and to redirect your attention to other things and make Trump seem like he just deported all of those gangbangers behind you, without due process.
We know that PolyFact actually checked the Trump administration because of an earlier picture that they released on Kilmer, recognizing.
See? Now she's going to bring up Kilmer again. Killer. Because that they fact-checked them on that. And see, once again, a bootleg narrative. You can see how deceptive they are once you know. See, the dummies watching her, they think Trump just altered the picture just to make the killer look bad. But what he did is he used a rubric. He showed those knuckles with all of those images and then put something above them to show what each one of the images meant. But she's trying to make it seem like he altered the picture, trying to make him look worse than he is or something like that.
That it was altered, that it was false, that they had placed gang signs, tattoos on him.
No. He had those on him already. These people are liars. Liar, you liar. Boy, I tell you, man.
That weren't real. And so
they weren't real. Yes, they were. Each one of those on them knuckles were real. She's not telling you guys if you're just a bubblehead that happened to stumble across my video and you're watching it like, what is this guy talking about here? Just in case you're one of those bubbleheads, she's lying to you. Yeah, Trump posted his real knuckles with the the pictures and stuff, and then he just put what it means up top. That's all he did. But she wants to make it seem like the whole thing was fake. Trump put all of that stuff on the guy's knuckles to set him up.
I would really, the press right now.
She don't know how to lie.
We're absolutely under attack.
No, out of nowhere, she goes from the fake at the press right now is under attack. Are you kidding me? If it was under attack, you guys wouldn't be at the White House at all. If it was under attack, you guys would have your network shut down because you're just spewing nothing but lies and fake news. Do you see this? So she realized how stupid she was starting to sound, and then she just pivoted to the press is under attack.
Our job is always to have our true north, to make sure that we're presenting balanced news, and making sure that we are not putting folks that are potentially in danger.
To make sure we're covering up for the illegal immigrants. We don't want anybody to see how bad they are and how, they've been deported lawfully and justifiably. We don't want to do that. So we're going to go ahead and pretend we're just covering them up for due process. We want to make sure they don't accidentally be put out. Now, let all of those pictures have white nationalists or something like that. Some folks who MAGA supporters or some J6 offenders. Let all those pictures have them. Let Biden and all of them come out with a whole bunch of pictures in the background of folks that they claim walked in to the Capitol and all that stuff. They would make sure they covered each and every picture. Like this person right here, you can see underneath it says they stood 100 yards away from the Capitol and looked, for about 3 seconds, then walked away, which makes them guilty as well, that we're looking for them. Yeah, they would have loved to highlight and show all those people, but now their precious illegal immigrants are being displayed, and they got to come up with some stupid narrative to try to keep their people from seeing who these folks are.
And having that representation of those pictures in the background, we can't allow that to basically for us to carry the water of potentially innocent people.
But this is the biggest bunch of shite ever. We can't allow us to do that because we be carrying the water of potential innocent people. Oh my God, how do this network? When are they going to go out of business? When? But see, they've been doing this for a while. Look what they did to Trump earlier.
So I would encourage, I recognize live shots are tough, but I would encourage folks to actually make sure that those shots are blurred
to cover up from all these illegal immigrants. So I would encourage everybody to not let the regular public see who these folks are and why they were deported. Because our job is to defend them, the best to the worst. It don't matter. We don't want Americans starting to say, well, if these are the type of people that they're deporting, what's the problem again? Why are the Democrats down there in El Salvador again? You telling me this man They don't want to see that. They don't want their people to see these people who the Biden administration unleashed into our country, that Trump has to go through all of these hoops and also combat all of these fake behind news networks just to get him out to make us safe. And if you don't believe me, look what they did when he was going ahead and talking about killer.
Best of your abilities. We know better.
Well said. And again,
well said. Well, nice propaganda. We worked on that piece real good before we went out here. You kind of made it believable a little bit, I think, maybe, but not all the way.
And the focus here, doing the work, doing it well.
Doing the work, doing it well. Well said. Well said. Compliment each other on that fake piece.
As journalists, it's never been more important.
In 2019, Garcia was issued a deportation order. 2 separate judges affirmed Garcia was a member of MS-13, which is a gang that may be even worse.
We've been watching President Donald Trump there swearing in the new...
Same network. Censorship on behalf of these illegal gang-banging immigrants, man. Their network, I hope they go negative on the viewership, man. They are piss poor. Scissor. I mean, and the crazy part about this is they are giving dumb Americans a false sense of security. If it was up to them, they would let every illegal gang-banging criminal immigrant just stay in our country unabated until they do something horrible and have everybody thinking that these illegal immigrants, there's no crime that comes from them. They're fine. They make our country better. And all of the stupid stuff that they try to say to lower the temperature and lower the suspicions of American citizens that might be going, man, I mean, is this a good idea to just open up our borders and let a hope? The media is telling us if I think this way, I'm a xenophobe and all of this stuff. And they're saying that the statistics show that these folks don't be committing crimes. You're fine. You're fine. Only to find out that this guy killed somebody I know and was in the country illegally and was deported how many times and came back and then flown across the country on Biden's dime. It's stuff like that. These people cover for this type of garbage right here.
Administrator of the CMS, the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid, Dr. Mehmet Oz, during this conversation.
Democratic pollster Mark Penn, who I think is one of the best in business, the Harvard-Harris poll, I think it's called. What about one of the few you can trust? We'll get to these other terrible polls as the show
terrible poll
goes on, but shows nearly 80% of Americans support not just the zero border closing, the zero immigration to the border, but the deportations.
Thank you. 80%. But you got the dumb media and stupid dang on Democrats who this is their future voting base. They don't want to lose it. Trying to convince that 80% that, no, this is a bad idea to deport all of these millions of immigrants that we worked hard to bring in to replace American voters. Yeah, 80%. And they're doing everything they can every day on the news to take that from 80 to 75. And they came up with a real good story that they lied about, y'all. Yeah, man, if you're going to get the people who got common sense to say, yeah, I see what they deport these people, you got to really come up with a heartstring story to start breaking them down, y'all. And I think they might have found one. Let's see.
At the deportation.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. Oh, you know that. They've been looking for one. I've been looking for a case like this. So now the media is about to lie about. We already knew when Trump got elected, they're going to be talking about the kids. So now all of a sudden they done found a story about the kids being deported. Trump and his meanness deporting the kids, y'all. Look at that. U.S. citizen children, including 4-year-olds with cancer. Yeah, they had to spice it up. All right, how can we make this even more dramatic and sensitive? You know what? One of the kids got cancer. Okay, can we say one of them got a brain tumor too? All of the kids are dying of something. You know what? Never mind. I think we'll just go with the cancer. So now we got kids being deported. They got cancer and Trump and all of his meanness. Here we go.
3 U.S. citizen children have been deported with their mothers. Now, this is according to the Washington Post. The family's lawyer says one of them is a 4-year-old with stage 4 cancer.
Yeah, that really spices things up. One of them is a 4-year-old with Now, once again, they're trying to take that 80% who's been watching the gangbangers and saying, I don't see what the problem is. Well, we know you're not going to be moved by that. So what we got to do, we've been waiting all this time since Trump started this. And we now got us a story that we think we can push to maybe chip away at that 80%. Because I don't care how hardcore you are on illegal immigration. If you don't feel something on the inside about Trump deporting 4 kids, okay, one of them got stage 4 cancer. 3 kids, or I think it was 3 of them. One of them got stage 4 cancer. Then you're not human. You're not human. But I got a feeling they're leaving out some facts and details, trying to make me get all busted up on the inside. And Marco Rubio is about to call her out.
Deported without medication or ability to contact.
Deported without medication, the ability to look, they are laying it on thick. Man.
doctors. The family's lawyers are also saying their clients were denied communication with family and legal representatives before being deported. And it's
why you treat them so bad. I don't know why, baby. So that's what she's singing to all of us, y'all. Trump treating all the kids bad and the cancer and the stuff and won't let them talk to their family. Get out, kids. Get to stepping your little kids and stuff like that. But look at Marco Rubio. He's taking it all in like, If we just stop right there and listen to you, of course we'd all be mad about this. However,
raising concerns about the issue of due process, that it's being violated. So let me ask you, is everyone on U.S. soil, citizens and non-citizens, entitled to due process?
You ready for him to blow her up? I'm sure by now most of y'all probably seen this clip already, but he's about to shut her big yap.
Yes, of course. But let me tell you, it looks in immigration standing, the laws are very specific. If you're in this country unlawfully, you have no right to be here and you must be removed. That's what the law says. Somehow over the last 20 years, we've completely lost this notion that somehow or completely adopted this idea that, yes, we have immigration laws, but once you come into our country illegally, it triggers all kinds of rights that can keep you here indefinitely.
Man, Marco, isn't that what they're doing? That's what it is. It's just this unspoken thing now all of a sudden. See, I mean, we all know the law, but I guess it's just been kind of unspoken now that they're here. I mean, you know what? Let's not get hard on them. Now they got to go through a process to get out. But it's fascinating how they don't have to go through a process to get in. It's crazy, man. So now Marco Rubio is saying this is the law. And no matter how much you guys try to make it seem just through something in the atmosphere, now all of a sudden it's just kind of like, yeah, I guess that makes sense. Is that a part of the law? Well, I mean, you know what? Due process is a good thing. I mean, if we have due process, I guess everybody does, regardless of your citizenship. They're trying to keep it murky. They're trying to go off of propaganda and saying this is how it should be, not how it is according to the law. And he has to go ahead and drop the hammer on her and make sure there's a line in the sand. I don't care how much you wish it to be, to where, we got to go ahead and take up a whole bunch of time and resources to deport the people who just came right across our border, came in quick. Yeah, it didn't take them long to get here and come across, but now we want to drag it out to get them out. So tell her more, Marco Rubio, to shut her mouth.
That's why we were being flooded at the border. And we've ended that. And that's why you see a historically low number of people, not just trying to cross our border, trying to cross the border into Panama, all the way down in the Darien Gap. I mean, it's been a huge help for those countries as well.
Word.
On the headline, that's a misleading headline. Okay.
A misleading headline. Go figure. We've been watching misleading stuff from the fake news all night tonight. Sitting back talking about Trump's altering pictures and stuff. We don't want to go ahead and show these killers pictures because, of course, you know, these killers might not be real killers. They may be innocent, gentle woodland creatures here for a better life. They need due process. And the sad part about it is every single one of those pictures outside the White House, they don't even need to be killers and all of that stuff. If they're an illegal immigrant, they should be gone, regardless of whether they're a drug trafficker or whatever else. That's how simplistic the law is concerning this matter. But they want to make it sound complicated. Depends on what they did. Are they contributing to how long have they been here? So now she's telling us Trump deported this 2-year-old and 4-year-old and cancer and stuff. Now we're going to find out that something else happened.
3 U.S. citizens, ages 4, 7, and 2, were not deported. Their mothers, who are legally in this country, were deported. The children went with their mothers.
Oh! But wait, you can't say that on your reporting when you're trying to change the 80% of people who say they all got to go back. You're trying to bring that down about 70, 60%. See, if you come out and say, yeah, a lady that had kids over here, but she's illegal. Yeah, she went home and decided, hey, kids, come with me. I'm taking y'all back with me. Trump and them didn't say, get your kids. You know what? Get the kids out. She took the kids. But why don't the headline read like that?
If those children are U.S. citizens, they can come back into the United States if there's their father or someone here who wants to assume them. But ultimately, who was deported was their mothers who were here illegally. The children just went with their mothers. But it wasn't like, you guys make it sound like ICE agents kicked down the door and grabbed the 2-year-old and threw him on an airplane.
Of course they made it seem like that. That's how it's supposed to sound to their fake raggedy audience and viewers. I mean, it can't be something where it's like, okay, well, y'all sending me back. All right, kids, come on, let's go. You're coming with me. Can't be that. It gotta be, Trump bust in, threw her on the ground, threw the kids. Anybody got a small pair of handcuffs? These are too big for the kids. Give me a small pair. You never, that zip tie, zip. I know it hurts. I know you're only 2. No, you're not taking your cancer medicine with you. Get out of here. That's how they want it to appear. And they're going to stir up all of these people after you see this to say, we now want impeachment. The way Trump's handling this immigration thing. Yeah, impeachment.
That's misleading. Yeah. That's just not true.
It is misleading.
Is there a way to...
And all she could do is go, yeah, because she knows it's misleading. And the Hammer, he has a very good, solution to it.
To carry out mass deportation without separating families?
Of course there's. Families can be deported together.
Yeah, perfect example.
If someone's in this...
Yep, that's a perfect example. That's exactly what happened right there.
This country unlawfully, illegally, that person gets deported. If that person is with a 2-year-old child or has a 2-year-old child and says, I want to take my child with me, well, then what? You have 2 choices. You can say, yes, of course you can take your child, whether they're a citizen or not, because it's your child. Or you can say, yes, you can go, but your child must stay behind. And then your headlines would read, U.S. holding hostage 2-year-old, 4-year-old, 7-year-old while mother deported.
Bam! Marco Rubio is reading her. That's exactly what they would do. No matter what Trump did in regards to those kids, they would say, how can we flip it now? Trump, just like I said the other day, if he was to bring Kilmar back to the country and let him go, then all of a sudden it'd be Trump releases a gang-banging illegal immigrant into he's out there saying how he's cleaning up the streets, but then he goes and releases this guy right here, MS-13 back. Yeah, they will flip it no matter what it is. And so Marco Rubio is like, yeah, this is how fake y'all are. If we were to go ahead and keep the kids here, y'all be saying, keeping them from their mother if she wanted to take them back to...
Bingo. So the parents make that choice. I imagine those 3 U.S. citizen children have fathers here in the United States. Yeah. They can stay with their father. That's up to their family to decide where the children go. Children go with their parents. Parents decide where their children go. Right. The U.S. deported their mothers who were illegally in America.
Boy, I tell you, that was a beautiful segment. She went in thinking she was going to tug on some heartstrings. Hopefully Marco Rubio didn't point out the fact that, no, we actually didn't deport the kids. She was hoping that he would just maybe not make that connection for her audience and her viewers. Maybe he was just to focus on the fact that, okay, these are illegal immigrants. They all had to go back home. But I'm loving the fact that he made sure he checked her with the false narrative about the kids being deported. No, they weren't deported. They just went with their mama and them. So now, guys, everybody's in a tizzy because of how the fake news is manipulating people. And they're upset because Trump is proving the real no one is above the law example. And yet they're out here fighting to make sure somebody is above the law. And remember, these are the same people who nobody's above the law when it came to Trump or anybody connected to Trump. But when it comes down to these raggedy folks protecting these illegal immigrants and getting busted, they're mad about it. So mad to where they want to see Trump impeached, and they're saying he shouldn't have did this stuff because this judge is above the law. So let's remind them of their hypocrisy.
If I can also answer your question, as far as the judges, look, we just arrested a judge, Fambani, for impeding ICE enforcement rules. I said from day one, you don't have to support ICE's operations. You can support sanctuary cities if that's what you desire to do. Sanctuary cities can stand aside and watch ICE keep their community safe. Because any public official, whether you're mayor, city councilman, or governor, their number one responsibility is protection of communities.
That's right. Move, please, get out the way. That's right. Get your butts out the way. Should be helping us, but hey, the least you can do is move out the way.
And ICE has been clear, we're targeting public safety threats and national security threats. I can't believe there's any elected official, and especially a judge, that doesn't believe we should be doing that, and they should be helping us. But I said from day one, you can sit aside and watch, you can argue against us all you want and protest all you want, but when you cross that line, I said this 1,000 times, when you cross that line to impediment or knowingly harboring, concealing an illegal alien from ICE, you will be prosecuted.
Now, how much clearer does he have to be? Okay. But these dummies, these activists are so committed to see when you're a judge and you do something this stupid, that means you really are committed. You really believe these people have a right to be here. You're really trying to protect them. Unlike your Democrat politicians up top, they are doing this straight up for, of course, votes later on and cheap labor. But as you trickle down and you done went ahead and voted in these activists or helped put these activist judges in and all these, well, yeah, once you go lower and lower, now you find out these folks are really committed to this mess. You know, they really are like, you know what, these people trying to deport them, they're just doing it because of racism. They don't want to diversify our country. They want the country to be, and these are people who deserve to be here. When you risk your career as a judge to help one escape, you're that upset with ICE and the fact that they're deporting this guy, and guess who comes to her rescue, y'all? The fake news.
Judge or not. And as far as releasing so many people, you know why the Biden administration released millions of people in the United States?
What?
No one ever talks about it. I'll talk about it. Why did they release people into the interior of the United States and put them, rather than put them into an ice bed? Why not put them in an empty ice bed at $127 a night rather than in a hotel room at $500 a night?
That's a good question, Tom the Hammer Holman. Yeah, why would you put them in a luxury hotel instead of an ICE holding?
They did it on purpose. Because when you put them in ICE detention bed, they get a hearing in 35 days.
Ooh!
Court records show 9 out of 10 people claim asylum, get order removal, they're gone.
That's
if you
why.
Release them and put them in a hotel room at $500 a night, their hearings can be 5, 7, 9 years. You pull out all appeals. And what are they hoping for then? That another Democrat administration is in power. They can award an amnesty to millions. This is about selling this country off for future political power.
There it is. That's why. Selling the country out for future political power. That's why. They wanted to make sure that they didn't go through the shortened version of being, you know, of course, scanned and synthesized. Like, dude, we already know you're not here for a better life. And because of you're running from persecution, you're here just to go ahead and capitalize off of our economy and the fact that the Democrats invited you. That's why. That's why you're here. So go home. And we don't need to go through a long, drawn-out process. We all know why they were coming. And so you know they would be bounced out of here if they would have went through the ice box. Yeah, somebody said an ice box. Yeah, if they'd have stayed in the ice box, would have got cold real quick. Get me out of here. Yeah, but instead, we want to send them into the country and put them in nice luxury hotels and stuff, and then say that they need to come back to see us in 3 or 4 years, perhaps, and know that they never come back. So, guys, yeah, that judge got her butt thrown in jail, and the press don't like it.
That's what it was. The law clearly says if you arrive at our border without proper documentation, you shall be detained. Not maybe, not think about it, shall. And that's what President Trump's doing. Catch and release is over. That's what the law says, and that's what we've done.
Y'all hear that, fake news? And all of your dummies who believe that Trump's violating the Constitution, he's disappearing all these people, and we're next.
Each community on Earth. If you take that away.
Whoa, look who made a cameo appearance. Look who's back. Apple head, big face, joyless Reed. Boy, I tell you, y'all, look totally different without that studio makeup. Yeah, man, she ain't got them in there powdering up that big apple head no more. So now we get to see all the real footage of that funky face. So now listen to what she got to say.
Way and try to distill us just down to white folks, we'll be like Europe, an aging, slowly dying former empire. Okay. The Roman Empire didn't survive because it didn't have enough strength in its diversity. It suppressed its diversity and it died.
You hear this, dummy? Rewriting history? Okay, so she's saying all of these people coming in is good for the country because it's diversity, and the Roman Empire didn't collapse because of diversity. It's because they didn't embrace their diversity, which is the absolute opposite of what she is saying. The Roman Empire became too diverse. They let a whole bunch of folks come in to operate and take care of stuff that normally Roman citizens would do, like the military. You went ahead, turned it over to the a whole different, the Germanic tribes. You're paying them to be your military all of a sudden. Do you think they're going to be committed to Rome like people born in Rome and believe in the glory of Rome? No, when you start outsourcing stuff, bringing a whole bunch of people in, diversify, you weakened the nation. They didn't come in with the love and the passion of Rome. And then all of a sudden, it unraveled from within. But here she's saying it's because they didn't embrace diversity. Boy, I tell you, these Democrats will rewrite history right in front of your eyes.
If the U.S. wants to be the Roman Empire, keep voting the way you're voting, y'all.
No. Yeah, if U.S. want to be the Roman Empire, if we had voted in Camille Harris and the Democrats, that's exactly what would happen. They would unravel the country from within. They would bring in so many illegal immigrants that it would dilute the culture, the love for the country, along with pushing DEI, along with pushing critical race theory, along with, manipulating our youth coming up through the education system, telling them America sucks. You don't need to support America like that. You should love America. We're stolen it. Along with all of that propaganda, that right there would have did exactly what happened to Rome. As she's talking about, keep voting like that and it's going to happen. The same thing happened to Rome. No, we might have just saved the empire by voting Trump in.
Meanwhile, we begin tonight with the escalation in the president's crackdown on illegal immigration.
Today's dramatic escalation in the Trump administration's conflict with judges.
The Trump administration signaling a major escalation in its deportation efforts.
I'm starting to notice a familiar word. Can y'all pick out the word of the day? Listen to the rest of them. See if you can catch the word of the day.
Today, an escalation in the Trump administration's battle with the judiciary.
Tensions between local and federal authorities over President Trump's immigration crackdown escalate.
Ding, 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 ding. Joseph was the first to post it. Escalation. There it is. Yeah, at the escalation, they got the talking point. Maybe Nancy Pelosi sent it. Who knows? But one of these Democrats sent it out to all of them, and they think that with the internets and all of us conservatives and people who like doing stuff like this are not going to catch it, not going to put these montages together that really shows and proves who they're working for. So now here's the key word, escalation. Trump's the one that's escalating things, not these radical judges, though, not them.
Escalated today.
We begin this hour with a major escalation of the Trump administration's crackdown on immigration.
We begin with what appears to be a major escalation in the Trump administration's deportation efforts.
And what is a major escalation in the battle here in D.C. over immigration and deportation.
This feels like an insane and reckless escalation from the Trump administration.
Insane and a reckless escalation. You see, mad cow with that nose twisted over like that. Yeah, she shouldn't be doing that. She need to straighten that bad boy up on her face. But every time she does it, the nose leans completely over to whatever side.
Arresting a judge? I will tell you, you are not alone.
Is a dramatic escalation.
More aggressive moves, more escalation.
Trump's escalation of his...
He can barely say Trump's escalation.
His migrant purge.
Well, guys, it's an escalation. There you go. Trump's the one that escalated it, not the raggedy behind judge who snuck somebody out of the courtroom. Hey, she didn't escalate it. It's Trump just finding people to bully and pick on. And then you know what? He's not respecting the separation of powers. But I thought nobody is above the law. So now they want to impeach Trump for this. Yeah.
When we get back to Congress next week, articles of impeachment need to be filed.
Oh, God, not that again. Not that again.
They should have been filed a couple of weeks ago.
Donald Trump is now arresting a federal judge who disagrees with his immigration policy.
Oh my, you hear this guy right here? Donald Trump is now arresting a federal judge who disagrees with his immigration policy. No, I think you left something out. He's arresting a federal judge who impeded the arrest of an illegal immigrant by sneaking him out. But he just leaves it at, yeah, there it is. She just disagrees with his immigration policies.
Not only is this illegal, but it's happening at the same time that Donald Trump is defying a 9-0 court order.
How is that illegal again? By arresting a federal judge who went ahead and impeded upon the arrest again. Why, how is that illegal? So This guy's reading this script with a whole bunch of fake behind acting and passion, thinking that somebody's going to fall for these lies. Look.
The law!
The law!
It is at the same time that it is disappearing people without due process.
The same time disappearing people without due process. Now he's claiming Trump's violating the law, the Constitution, no due process. Maybe he needs to hear from Tom the Hammer Holman or Marco Rubio, or go back to what the law really says about illegal immigrants to come here. But this guy, remember, he fell for it. I guess now they're here, they get due process.
A violation of the Constitution, a violation of the law. Make no mistake, Donald Trump is breaking the law at the same time that he's breaking the law further by arresting federal judges. This is complete and...
Do you hear this? You hear this trash? I wonder who wrote that script. Only stupid people would be listening to him say, darn right, what is Trump doing? That's crazy. You know what? He's overstepping his boundaries. I guess he is a dictator. All of these lies, man. And they just sling notice, guys, they've been slinging these lies out about Trump forever. He's always breaking the law. He doesn't care about law and order. He doesn't care about the Constitution. Everything he does, he's violating the Constitution. But they never tell you how. Yeah, and when you find out what he really did, and you know why he did it, and you know who he did it to, you'll find out that no, that's not a violation of the Constitution. Why are you saying that? No, these people aren't having their due process violated. They should be deported.
An utter meltdown of the checks and balances that protect us from being an authoritarian regime.
Pull back, buddy. You're trying to sell us on the impeachment, okay? Too much. Take this from an authoritarian. Yeah, too much, bring it down.
Now is the time, America! To be honest, of course, the time was a month ago, 2 months ago, 3 months ago, last November. But now, if you are not feeling with fervor the desire to defend your country, to defend the promise of what you can be, then you are no longer part of this American experiment. Call your senators, call your reps, knock on their doors and their offices, and only one word should be on our lips: impeach!
Impeach 45. I'm surprised they didn't bring out Mad Max. Where's she at? Peach 45. So wait a minute. Oh, y'all, hold on. That guy just scared me to death. All rights are being rolled back. Hello. Is this my representative? The Peach 45. Peach 45, okay? There we go. Yeah, there you go. 47. But that's what Mad Max used to be. Peach 45. So now that actor right there who tried to get all dramatic and stuff and filled with a whole bunch of lies, I don't think that's going to work. Nobody's going to be calling up their senator and houseman. Can you impeach Trump because he's violating these illegal gangbangers' rights?
Why are there no calls for impeachment? This is unacceptable.
But see, they done got their voters so used to impeachment. I mean, they just recklessly throw it out there. Why are there no calls for impeachment? And I'm thinking because Trump didn't do nothing to get impeached. Y'all are just big babies. We're not having our way, so let's impeach him. They don't even realize the magnitude and the weight of impeachment. If anybody should have got impeached, it should have been Joe Biden. And they didn't even impeach him. And here she is talking about, why aren't you calling for impeachment? This is unacceptable. They've trained their viewers and voters and stuff to whine, complain, tear up stuff, and do all these things. And then at the end of the day, let's just go ahead and have a willy-nilly impeachment and not recognize the fact that all these people voted for Trump. Forget what they did. Forget what they want. Let's just impeach him because of all of the lies that they've been fed. They're telling these people Trump has violated some type of law, violated the Constitution, throwing judges in jail for no reason. Of course, if he was doing those things, you would be going, impeach him.
I will not live in an authoritative country, and neither will any of these people. You can do more. I like you, and I will vote for you if you are brave, and you do what we need.
No, do what we want. Yeah, that's what we're going to do because we're in a woke city, and you're a woke mayor and a woke whatever, so we're going to go ahead and threaten you with our wokeness. You better do what we say. Y'all trained us good. You trained us good.
We need him impeached. We need him removed.
There is no doubt that this president's conduct has already exceeded any prior standard for impeachment by.
Now he's pacifying. He's pacifying this lady. He knows that Trump ain't did nothing to warrant an impeachment, but he knows he can't impeach Trump right now, so he could just say it. He could just say it to make these people think he's on their side of impeachment, and he agrees that, yeah, Trump did a whole bunch of stuff that warrants an impeachment. I won't go into the details of it because really I'd be lying to you like I'm lying right now. But I'm gonna let you know we can't impeach him. It's not it's not up to us. We don't have the power.
The United States House of Representatives. I agree with you. But as I said at the beginning, I also have no choice but to be candid with you about the situation that we face and the tools that are at our disposal.
What is it?
As strongly as I agree with you, man. And I regret if this is an unwelcome response, but my job is to be honest with you.
What?
The only way to achieve what you want to achieve is to have a majority in the United States House of Representatives.
How can you be? I thought my job is to be honest with you. As I just sat back and said, he's done way more stuff that he should have been impeached by. You know that's not true. And now you're going to tell her, my job is to be honest with you.
Georgia Senator John Ossoff has called for Trump's impeachment.
Impeachment!
And it's about time. As we are all well aware.
About time. 100 days. That's enough. It's about time. 100 days is enough. Did we not think that they would try something like this? I knew it. I'm like, soon as Trump wins, it's going to be everybody just being deported. Oh my God, they're ripping babies and killing kids and all this stuff. Trump's doing everything. He's a dictator. We got to impeach him immediately. These folks are nuts, man. And the precedent that they have set in our country because of the divide and the manipulation and the propaganda from the media and the news. I don't know how we course correct. We got these people right here radicalized on the left to where everything is impeachment. Everything is, we got to fight. Everything is, our rights are under attack and Trump's violating this, and whoever else comes along after Trump, if they believe in the same policies and support the same stuff as Trump, then they also are a dictator and a fascist. And it becomes a vicious cycle, man. We got to just somehow, maybe these people don't want to breed no more and they'll just breed out of society or whatever, or give them an option to go to another country or something. But this is a very toxic environment because that's what they're going to expect every time they don't get their way. Either we tear stuff up, violence, or impeachment for no reason.
Trump has done a long list of impeachable offenses.
What? I guarantee you she has no idea. She would just simply read whatever or repeat whatever those fake folks in the media and fake commentators have been telling her. But he's violated all this stuff.
So it is about time that someone is actually calling for his impeachment. I have hundreds of thousands of followers all over the world who are incredibly confused why Trump is president and how he was even...
Why Trump is president? You know why he's the president? Because they voted him in overwhelmingly.
Even able to be elected in the first...
Why was he able to be elected? Because we have a constitutional republic and he didn't do nothing and everybody knew it. So they voted him in. But you just don't like it, little redhead girl, ginger. But you're talking about that he shouldn't have been able to run anyway and that he needs to be impeached.
So I'm going to take what the senator has done as a great sign. And in the meantime, we are going to continue our massive protests here in the United States.
One of the issues that Donald Trump is really under the water, probably his worst issue, is the Maryland man who is in El Salvador, right?
Y'all hear that? See, this is why everybody is mad they got a bubblehead. Because of stuff like this. Now, Scott's going to have to pop that bubblehead of hers.
Right now, it's something that
Maryland
man. He is a Maryland man.
Come on.
What I will tell you
is an El Salvadoran citizen. He is not a Maryland man. He is an illegal immigrant living in this country illegally for 14 years.
Whatever you want to say, Scott.
Let's say you can say whatever you want to say, Scott, even though it's the truth.
The American people.
Hold on, is the way it is because we're lying. We're lying.
We're not lying. The American people.
The peace orders were in Maryland.
Guys,
he was beating his wife.
The American, even though they have been saying that about him for weeks, that is not penetrating in America. Americans are just misled, and that's why they don't like how Trump has handled this.
He has been.
No, we like how Trump has handled this. I don't know who you guys are talking to. The 80% of folks are saying deport all of these folks. They're not sitting back deporting them after their due process. Do you think that was in the mind of all the folks who say we want all illegal immigrants deported out the country? You think they stop for 1 second to say, but before that happens, we'd like to see them all go through due process. And everybody who voted for Trump, they want these people gone. They never even thought for 1 second that we'd have to go through a whole bunch of stupid hoops and judges and stuff doing all these crazy things to block it to get them out of here. They voted Trump in to get him out of here as quickly and efficiently as they came in. Just as easy as they came in, get him out of here. But now y'all want to go through due process.
I've been saying that for weeks. And what has the entirety of the national news media been saying? He's a Maryland man. He's a mild-mannered suburban father. We have lied our rear ends off about this case. He is a El Salvador illegal immigrant. He came to the country 14 years ago illegally. There is a ton of evidence that he is involved in gang activity. There is a ton of evidence that he was involved in...
Look at her. Look, in denial. No.
It's an embarrassment. Let me just respond to something
Yeah,
you said,
go ahead.
which is that you said, well, you got to worry about the impact on the community.
Yes.
The president and the Justice Department and his people have to worry about the impact of illegal immigration on the country because nobody's been worried about that for years. And the reason this is important is because this is one of Donald Trump's biggest criminal justice priorities. And frankly, it's one of the American people's biggest priorities to control this. And you know well, there are people all over towns, all over this country who have been working overtime to try to stop him from executing on this agenda. If she turns out to be one of them, a spectacle is warranted so other people will stop doing it.
I appreciate it.
Thank you, Scott. Tell them the truth.
We really gotta go. Is that there are people and one political party in this country dedicated to re-importing illegal aliens hand over fist, and it is
that's not true. You see these stupid people? Yeah, re-importing them after they've been deported, and then with it that's not true. But yet we see them down there in El Salvador doing videos. We're here to make sure that all of these the illegal immigrants are brought back for due process. Are you kidding me? And then they sit there. That's not true. Scott had to call out the network that he works for lying.
Outrageous.
There's this individual case of
and here we go, y'all. As we close out, they mad, y'all. They mad that Trump went ahead and arrested that judge. She ain't do nothing. And this right here is a violation of the law. They shouldn't have did it. She's above the law.
this judge. There's also potentially the intimidation factor towards all judges, right? That this has an effect on trying to scare and intimidate judges into not ruling against Trump or otherwise acceding to Trump and the Trump administration's demands.
Oh, that's what that
When
is.
you say we must do whatever we can to defend the independent judiciary in America, what do you think that we should do? We've seen people instantly and spontaneously react by going to the courthouses, by going to the streets to protest. Do you think that matters? And what else do you think could?
Well, absolutely. Well, you know what I think, if we're going to defend the judiciary and stuff like that, how about those Supreme Court justices? When all of those radical folks showed up at their crib, one person even tried to come and take one of them out. And they were all out there in front of those houses after Roe versus Wade and all that stuff. Well, whatever happened to all of that? Whatever happened to defending them on stuff like that then?
Absolutely. I mean, everybody who aspires and attains to public office in America, regardless of which branch they're in, is just a servant of the people. And
what are you saying, rat skin? What are you saying? Servant of the people. Well, if they're a servant of the people, then they should be following the law when it comes down to illegal immigrants and stuff. So let's continue.
The people need to manifest their outrage about these assaults on judicial independence.
Now you hear this bullshit. The manifesto. Nobody's mad about this. That judge deserves to have her butt arrested. But you're going to try to make it seem like people are upset that this corrupt, evil judge got her butt thrown in the slammer. She's a hero. We don't want to say what she did and then back it up with nobody's above the law. Nah, Trump shouldn't have did it because of stuff.
The first branch of government, the legislative branch, Congress must do the same thing. We must reject all of these attacks on individual judges.
Frankly, So these are attacks on individual judges. Not attacks on judges that broke the law. Okay. I mean, yes, you could criticize all of the woke judges that are stopping him and trying to stop him from being able to deport people. But when you take matters into your own hands like those two judges, what is this fool talking about? He's conflating the issues, trying to make it seem like Trump is just attacking all kind of judges all over the place. And here's another propaganda that's coming out running interference for this corrupt judge.
Quite shocked. I couldn't believe what I had seen. I was horrified by the actions of the FBI coming onto our county courthouse grounds, literally going after a sitting judge who's not a flight risk.
What? Quite shocked. The way the FBI came in. You know what I was quite shocked over? The way the FBI went into Mar-a-Lago and went through Melania's stuff and Barron's stuff and all the Trump stuff. I was quite shocked by that. You know what I was quite shocked by? How they did Roger Stone when they rode up on the scene early in the morning, bust down his doors with boats and long guns and helicopters and stuff. I was quite shocked. I was quite shocked to see how heavy-handed they went on all the J6ers. I was quite shocked. After seeing how they did a whole bunch of stuff like that one guy who was defending his son from the radical person when he was out there, protesting. And then they came to his house with all of those FBI agents, came up in there, arresting him in front of his son after they agreed to drop all of the charges, but they wanted to make an example out of that guy right there. I was quite shocked, but now you're shocked that this judge right here, had some of that type of treatment.
And literally bringing so many officers to arrest her.
Like all of those officers to arrest Roger Stone, the old man in the house with his dog and his wife who's blind. Or the guy at the house with his family. That guy. All of that. And you're talking about all of the people that came to arrest her.
Truly look at this as political showmanship, and there's absolutely no reason for the FBI to have carried out their actions the way that they did today.
Exactly. That's what we've been saying. How they roll up on Trump and all of that stuff. There was no reason for them to do all of that. Talking about you are permitted to use deadly force if necessary. No reason for them to do that.
The argument that the folks in the Trump administration are making is, hey, no one's above the law, including judges.
Except this judge.
This is an impartial and fair application of the law.
Now watch him bunny hop right over that statement right there.
I absolutely agree that no one is above the law. But that also means...
You hear that?
That no one is beneath its protections.
Oh, no one is beneath its protections. What does that got to do with anything? So, either you're above the law or not, but no one's beneath its protection. So what did this lady do that she should be, why are you thinking she's beneath its protection?
As well. And so we don't need to litigate this case out in public. We know we're going to see this happening throughout the court system. But regardless of the fact...
So now all of a sudden we don't need to litigate this out in public and this and this and that?
This was put on to be a show. This is really to show intimidation of judges across the entire country.
Wow. All of the Trump people who were arrested under all that lawfare, all of them who were brought into court, the money messed with and all of that stuff, all of the times they went after Trump, all of the show trials that they put on, all of that crap. And he got the nerve to be talking, this was just a way to make an example with that.
Because we know that Republicans in Congress have not been standing up to these terrible policies. It's been our judiciary. It's been our justice system. And so now they're under attack. And it's important now than ever.
Nobody's under attack. What is he saying? See, this is what I mean. They're making it seem like Trump is arbitrarily just attacking judges. Now, he's criticizing ones that are signing these injunctions to try to stop him from deporting these people. Yeah, but they call that an attack. See, yeah, he criticizes them and they fight against it in the legal system, but he calls that an attack. He's lumping those folks in with the two judges that actually committed a crime. One of them having these folks living with him and the other one letting one go. But he just lumps them all together. He just wants people to think Trump's just attacking judges everywhere. Any judge is free game. Any judge.
That we're not only protecting due process, but talking about the need to protect our democracy.
Do judges act in ways that are inappropriate sometimes? Yes.
Do judges act in ways that are inappropriate sometimes? Look at them softballing what this judge did.
That is why there are judicial disciplinary panels in place for someone to make a complaint and have that board investigate whether or not some sort of disciplinary action is warranted.
Now, that takes too long. When you do something like what that judge did, we got to sit in the boys. That's what we had to do.
In this case. So even if we accept everything the government alleges to be true, I do not.
Of course you do not. You think this judge was a hero for letting that criminal go.
Accept them all to be true. We haven't gotten all the facts fully yet. That would have been the appropriate way to do it.
Yeah, that's the appropriate way. So her reputation isn't embarrassed. So she's not exposed for being a radical, crazy judge that she is. Yeah, softballer.
By sending in someone to arrest her in her courtroom is a violation of the separation of the branches.
Since when? What are you talking about? If you committed a crime, wherever they catch you, they catch you. But now all of a sudden it's a violation of the separations of the branches. So you're not allowed to arrest a judge to commit a crime? That She's a part of another branch. We can't do nothing. Darn it. If she wasn't a part of your judicial branch, we'd arrest her. No, you get arrested too.
He is being treated.
Look at this guy.
No better or worse than anyone else.
No better or worse than anyone else. But listen to what he used to say about Trump.
This is not selective prosecution. That this is not somebody who's singled out. That he's being treated just like anyone else.
Yeah, that's when he was talking about Trump, though.
That is what it means to have a rule of law.
That is what it means to have no bass in your voice. He got no bass in the voice.
That big old nose, and he's talking straight up out of the nose.
The rule of law, and Trump did too, and he's not above the law.
That is what the Justice Department is really signaling and messaging here, is that everyone will be treated, as Merrick Garland has said, as equally in this country.
Equally.
This is really a great day for America.
Great day when they was going ahead and treating Trump crazy. Going to his crib, doing all of that stuff to him. It was a great day. But now
there has been a violation here that we know for sure.
What?
And it is not the judge. Exactly.
A violation here for sure, and it's not the judge. It's not what the judge did. Is she above the law?
Exactly. You don't do it. Even if you thought that there was a ground for doing this, the judgment call that you thought that this is the case to bring, it tells you everything. There is no adult in the room.
Yeah, no adult in the room because they wanted to softball this judge and do it quietly and maybe just sign a petition, have her seen by committee and all that. No, but just a minute ago it was a great day.
It was a great day the way that this was shown that there's nobody above the law.
But now all of a sudden,
there's no adults in the room. We should have did nothing to this judge. She
would have said, "Are you kidding me? Why would you possibly do this?" And the answer is because we want to send a signal to the judiciary.
Just like they sent a signal to Trump and all of us MAGA supporters, right?
And that's what you shouldn't be doing.
Nobody's above the law. We only have one system of law for everyone. Nothing about being an elected official gives you a license to commit crimes.
You hear that, Mad Cow? Preach, Mad Cow. That was back in 2023 when she thought she was only talking about Trump and his supporters.
Or a license to get away with it if you do. Why step up politically and defend a judge or a prosecutor? That's supposed to be a non-political part of our system.
Yeah. Why step up and defend these judges and prosecutors? They deserve that same type of treatment that everybody else does, right, Mad Cow?
It's not like we didn't know it was going to be terrible.
Uh-oh.
And it is terrible. He really did have a judge arrested today.
Oh, all of that other stuff went out the window. All of that talking about nobody's above the law. We got to, you know what? I don't care, judges. They get arrested too. But now all of a sudden, this is terrible. Trump had a judge arrested.
Arresting a judge today.
Yes, sir. They arrested a judge today. Y'all hear that? See, they forget about all of these hypocrisy crumbs that they leave on the internet all over the place. All over the place. These folks are fake as a $7 bill.
Are you kidding me?
Judge Dugan was in her right in doing what she did. She didn't obstruct justice. She obstructed fascism.
Judge Dugan was in her right to do what she did. She did not obstruct justice. She obstructed fascism. Can you believe this short? Unbelievable, man. They are going to war over this fake, corrupt judge. Boy, I tell you, they are on the wrong side of everything. But to dummies, they're believing this crap.
This other story we're tracking, which seems to mark a different chapter in the ongoing immigration agenda of this administration, that was the FBI arresting and charging a sitting judge in Milwaukee. Now,
and they're saying it like the shop. A sitting judge, like this is unprecedented.
FBI says that she obstructed their agents when they were trying to arrest an undocumented immigrant who was in her courthouse. It's been reported she allowed him to leave through a side door. But what does this say to you now in terms of what the administration is willing to do?
Willing to do? What are you talking about? Willing to do? No, what does it say to you when a judge is willing to do? I mean, what does it say about these judges that are willing to go ahead and try to open back doors so these folks can go? She's not using that same, type of, sentiment towards the judge. She's not saying, what does it say to you when our judges are willing to harbor these people and try to keep these people here and try to make sure Trump can't deport them, and even worse, open the back door and let them out? What does that say to you? But instead, she wants this person to address, what does this say to you about the Trump administration? That they would be willing to arrest a corrupt judge that impeded an arrest.
And how this was carried out.
Well, obviously, they're trying to send a note of intimidation, not only to her, but to all judges and maybe to all Americans.
To all Americans. No, I'm glad at this point that some people are being held accountable because under the Biden administration, this judge would have been celebrated. Nobody would have touched her. They were doing all kind of crazy stuff under him.
But I don't yet know the specific details of this case, whether she escorted the guy out the jury door or whether she's let him. So that's all murky. I don't want to comment on this specific case. But especially on the issue of immigration, there are a lot of people who are appalled by what the administration is doing.
Who? A lot of people that are appalled by what the administration is. No, a lot of people love it. 80% of us.
And there will be times for civil disobedience. And to me, let's say she did escort this guy out the door. If federal enforcement agencies come to your courtroom and you help a guy escape, that is two things.
What?
One, it strikes me as maybe something illegal.
Now look at that. Watch this propaganda. Maybe something illegal. Little laugh, little joke, like he's uncomfortable to even have to say it. But then look what he says right here.
But it also strikes me as something heroic.
Something heroic. Because they're fighting against what? Fascism. Do you see these 1984 dang on actors? Because they're straight out of the book, straight out the movie, 1984. Yeah, it's heroic.
This guy was in court
Now we got to hear the truth as we close out. Pam Bondi, would you go ahead and help all of these propaganders out? Because they think this judge ain't do nothing. Yeah.
prosecuted by a state prosecutor for domestic violence battery. He had beat up two people, a guy and a girl, hit the guy 30 times, knocked him to the ground, choked him, beat up a woman so badly they both had to go to the hospital. And John, you know, it's so rare for victims to want to cooperate. They wanted to cooperate. They were sitting in the courtroom with the state prosecutor. The judge learns that ICE was outside to get the guy because he was deported in 2013.
So he was deported in 2013. Let's see what this radical judge did to this guy who beat up some people, that beat up a woman, and all of that stuff. Let's see what she did.
Back in our country, commits these crimes, charged with committing these crimes, victims in court. Judge finds out, she goes out in the hallway, screams at the immigration officers. She's furious, visibly shaken, upset, sends them off to talk to the chief judge. She comes back in the courtroom, you're not gonna believe this, takes the defendant and the defense attorney back in her chambers, takes them out a private exit and tells.
So wait a minute. You telling me she was more angry at ICE than she was this illegal immigrant killer? Immigrant person who beat up somebody and beat up a lady too. She's that mad at ICE. That's why I said you get on her level. She's a real believer. She's offended at the fact that ICE would even show up to deport this person who is here illegally and committed a crime. And right there, you're supposed to be adjudicating his crime, but instead you get distracted. You get to, wait, is that ICE out there? So let me finish what I'm doing here with them. I'm so upset that ICE here to arrest this person who committed all these crimes that I'm sitting there supposed to be litigating. What I'm going to do is I'm going to let him go. That's what I'm going to do. And these dummies in the media, Trump is arresting judges. He's heavy-handed.
Them to leave. While a state prosecutor and victims of domestic violence are sitting in the courtroom.
So the victims were sitting there going, what did just happen? Where'd he go? He never came back out. Where's he? Him and his lawyers, are we done? Did we finish this thing? Is it arraigned? I don't know what's postponed. What just happened? Here I am in the middle of a process. And I get wind that ICE is out there, and it makes me say, you know what? I'm going to stop right in the middle of what I'm doing. I'm not going to let, the defendant know what's happening or nothing. I'm going to go out there, yell at ICE, come back in, tell the lawyer and the defendant to bounce, the victim out there, just they don't know what's happening. She comes back in, tell the defendant and the lawyer to bounce out the back door. That's right. I'll show ICE. I'll show Trump and his administration that they have no jurisdiction over here. That's what I'm going to show them. They're fascists and they hate immigrants more than I hate this criminal who beat up somebody and a woman. I'd rather see him go free than Trump arrest him and deport that man. And yet you got these phony people out here whining and complaining that that judge got her butt escorted out, just like she escorted those people out the back of the courtroom when she got her butt escorted out the front by the FBI. Dang on it. Now, God bless y'all. God bless America. Thanks for kicking it with me tonight. Oh, yeah. As soon as I said God bless, they came a running. And there's Nala. Look, look. She's getting ready for them puppies. You see? She got boobies. Boobies. I cannot believe this little teeny puppy who's running around like she has no idea she's pregnant. Having a great time. Boy, that's going to change. You better kick it now while you can, because you about to be a mama. Uh-huh. Then we got this guy. Yeah, I'm talking about, don't be yawning and Gizmo. She thought you was trying to play around with her. she had no idea. She's thinking, well, we're playing. Look, he's finally chasing me and having fun with me. Yay, this is fun. Uh-oh, I'm with the child. So God bless y'all. God bless America. Yeah, them darn Democrats, man. Don't forget to hit the like button on the way out. Share my videos. Follow me on all the other social media platforms. If you want to support the channel on the way out too, you can check out Kevin's Corner Store, or you could just simply support it through my Cash App or my PayPal. That is great. It would definitely help out with the channel and the stuff that I got to deal with. Or, if you've participated in the super chat, that also helps. And just watching and sharing and liking the videos, everything you do helps. So let's get ready to get out of here so I can get ready to go to sleep. Don't forget to text MAGA to this number too to stay connected with me, and we'll go from there. All right, now let's bounce, y'all. This is our city. I know you see the 8s. Tear up the place, yeah. Take care.